Bit 16, you've never seen a review like this. Weird old games you cannot tame, this world that you miss. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit.
Hello, my name's SNES Man. Today's game is called Shaq-Fu. It's about the famous basketball player Shaquille O'Neal and his dramatic kung fu adventures. Now you might ask, what is a basketball player doing in a Super Nintendo game? Well, the Shaq Daddy wasn't just a star athlete. He was also a Jesus-like celebrity in the 90s, acting in cinematic masterpieces like Kazam, and mesmerizing America with his flawless rap albums. So he asked himself one day, why don't I make a video game? And that's when the magic began. Shaq-Fu is a hidden masterpiece, a true work of genius that made later games like Ocarina of Time and Skyrim look like a joke. Surprisingly, critics have been really harsh with this game. Game Informer listed it on its list of worst games ever. There's even a website called Shaq-Fu.com that's devoted to tracking down and destroying every copy of the game. How tragic. How sickening to think that people would want to destroy one of mankind's greatest triumphs. Let's take a look at this video game triumph and get down to gaming. When you put in the game, this is the sound it makes. Well, that was different. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but who am I to question Shaq-Fu? Shame on me! Here's our title screen. Let's choose story mode and see what wonders await us. And here's our intro cutscene. I'm so excited! Our story begins with Shaquille O'Neal wandering through Tokyo. The graphics are just heavenly. Look at the attention to detail on Shaq's face. Look at the beautiful product placement. What a celebration of American ideals. So, anyway, our hero goes into a kung fu dojo and meets a weird old guy. They have several pages of fascinating small talk, and then the old guy is like, "Shaq, go through the magic portal and save this kid who got lost in there," or something like that. Shaq enters the second world. How mysterious. It's a good thing this game wasn't set in the real world. That'd be so boring and stupid, and simply put, that would make too much sense. Instead, Shaq-Fu takes the path of artistic genius. It tosses you into a beautifully rendered second world and tells you, explore. From here, you can choose which battles you want to go to. Now, some people might say this whole map thing is a gimmick since it's just a way of choosing stages, but that's missing the whole point. Shaq-Fu isn't your run-of-the-mill fighting game. You can explore the entire island and marvel at its beauty. If you get tired of fighting, you can take a leisurely stroll along the coast or wander through the forest. Trust me, this will entertain you for hours. But let's get down to the actual fighting. This is a fighting game after all. Here, Shaq dramatically confronts the evil Memphis before they fight. Memphis responds by saying, "I'll whisper in your ear after I slap you silly." Now, some people could say this has sexual connotations, but that is simply ridiculous. How dare they mock such a brilliant piece of dialogue? Shame on them! Well, I guess there is another kind of questionable line that the cat lady says later. She says, "I'm gonna do some serious damage to your body." Once again, no sexual connotations, so shut up. Okay, back to the fighting. Now, Shaq-Fu is a classic 2D fighter, but don't be fooled by its humble appearance. It makes Street Fighter look like dirt. When you play as Shaq, you feel like you're controlling an unbeatable monster, a champion on the battlefield. The combat never gets stale because you can choose from so many options. Not only can you choose between punching and kicking, you can also do soft attacks and heavy attacks. Add in the jump attack and you have 5 whole moves to choose from. Some people don't like the jumping in this game, but I thought it was fantastic. Look how far you can jump. It's like playing as a kangaroo, and kangaroos are awesome. If you don't like kangaroos, you can get out of America. Okay, true, it's really hard to hit your enemy when you're jumping around like that, but who cares? Shaq-Fu isn't focused on mundane things like just killing your enemy. That would be so generic and stupid. Instead, Shaq-Fu lets you stop and enjoy the game. You can leap with joy, taking in the gorgeous graphics and thanking God that such a masterpiece was ever created. Can you do special moves? Yes, but luckily the controls are so awkward that you most likely won't learn how to use them. That's a good thing. Some old games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were too obsessed with special moves, and that ruined the whole experience. Shaq-Fu understands that simple punches and kicks are much more fun to use. Blocking is also different in Shaq-Fu. In most 2D fighters, you can block by walking backwards and your character will put their arms up in defense. However, in this game, the characters never seem to do a blocking animation. No, this wasn't because the game developers were lazy. It's an intentional feature. It adds suspense to the game because you never know when your enemy is blocking or not. Okay, off topic, but wow, when he's out of health, Shaq looks like a rotting undead Bill Cosby. But never mind, Shaq-Fu is just a staggering achievement in video game history, and if you disagree with me, you're probably uneducated or stupid. Okay, well let's finish up talking about the story mode. After Shaq defeats an evil mummy king, here's the ending. Shaq saves the kid who got lost in the second world and rushes back just in time to play a basketball game. Let's just say I had to fight some traffic to get here. Hilarious. See, the joke is that Shaq didn't get stuck in traffic, he was busy fighting monsters in another dimension. Just making sure you guys got it, because that is comedic gold and I didn't hear you laughing. Shame on you. Then, a monster from the other dimension, Beast, shows up to challenge Shaq to basketball. The end. Never have I seen such a brilliant, touching ending. So that's story mode, but what other modes are there in Shaq-Fu? Well, there's a versus mode for 2 players. Sadly, I can never get anyone to play this with me for some reason. I don't know why. In this mode, you can choose to play as any of the other monsters from the second world. Some of them have some kind of interesting powers, like Mephis with his force shield, but I find these characters distracting. Why would you need to play as anyone other than Shaq? Have some loyalty, for God's sake. Another mode in Shaq-Fu is tournament mode. This is exactly what it sounds like. You can set up a tournament for all your friends and duel each other. I don't know why Shaq-Fu tournaments haven't caught on like Brawl or Melee have. Kids these days don't know real fighting games. They don't know the brilliance of Shaq-Fu, and that makes me sad.
Things to make it better.
Nothing. What more can I say? Shaq-Fu is a hidden masterpiece, a true piece of art that outshines every game that dared to wallow in its shadows. A 3 out of 10. Okay, no more sarcasm, it sucks. Everyone knows it, just please don't play it. This has been SNES Man Reviews, and I'll talk to you again sometime soon. But seriously, don't play it.
I dribble around like basketballums. People call me 18. What's that, Shaq, man? Extra tallums. You're better than Shaq, Fool, shut up, liar. I lean on a statue of liberty when I get tired.